are going to learn a graphical uh, module called Kinter, and this module helps us create graphical user interface, which means that we could create uh, widgets like buttons, text boxes, and window-based app application basically. So as of until now, we were creating all command line interface. We were creating all these Python programs, and we were running, executing the programs in the command line. Now we are going to create a window-based application, and so that we could interact with that application using our mouse, and we can enter the information in text box and so on. All right. So let's go ahead and start creating the program. So for this we need a Tkinter module. So just let's import it. So from Tkinter import star, that it is going to import all the functions and classes of Tkinter. And let's say the first step is to create a window. So what we will do, we are going to create a window, and the method that we use for that is tk. Okay. So this particular line is going to create the window, and then we need to give main loop. Main loop means this window will be active until you close it. And so that's all we need. If we run this, we're going to get a window, right? A blank window, and the name of this window is window, and it is just open. We have not given anything to it. It's just a template. We can always maximize, restore, and even close the window. All right. Now let's go ahead and give a size to window. For that, we have to use geometry method and give height and width. Let's say I am giving 900. It should be in codes. 900 by 600. Now this, when we run this program, the window will be opening in a particular size. Okay, that's about geometry method. And now you see by default the title that you see on the window will be TK. Okay. If you want to change the title, excuse me, you can give window dot title and give whatever title you want to give. So title will be changed. Run this. The title of the window will be changed to my application. Okay. Now, similarly, we have some option to define a font for the entire window. That means whatever we will be using, all that elements will be on in a particular font. So for that, we give window dot option add, give a star here, font. We're going to add a font element, and let's give a font Arial, and let me give 14. So 14 as the size. This will define the font for our entire window. All right. So far, we have given the size of the window, title, and defined the font. Let's go ahead and create a label so that we can display something. Okay. So for that, you have to use a method called label. Okay. Now, since you are creating this label, you have to mention where we want to create this label. So obviously, we are going to create this label on the window, and the name of the window is window itself. Okay. So I give window. Let's label the window, um, and then I can give it text what I want to display. Display hello world. This label is going to display hello world, and this label will be opening in this window, and we can specify at what location we want to display. So there's a place method, and here I can give relative x the x location, x axis. Let's say I give x as point 2, and then y is going to be, let's say, point 4. This point 2 and point 4 is the fraction of the entire window. Okay, so based on the size of the window, this will automatically shrink or enlarge, right? So this would be the x and y. It's going to open and display hello world. Let's run this. So you see hello world got displayed in this particular coordinate, right? So let's see if I give x-axis as 1 and y also point 1, going to open at this location. Excuse me. Okay. Um, so this is about label, just to display something on the screen. And here also, if you want to give specify some font or something, we can always specify. Let's say I give font equals. I'm giving here Arial, let's say 20. Okay. The size of this font is going to be 20 for this particular label. I have messed up with something. Okay, never mind. This should go there up. So that here where we are displaying the font. Okay. Now the font of the label has been increased. This will override the font that we had defined in the beginning. So we had given 14 and now we are given 20. So this has overridden it. Like that, we can a font attribute also for a label. Similarly, we can create a text box or an entry box. What we say, I give txt box equals. For that, we create call a method called entry. Okay, and this will just wait for that input, and now we can place it wherever we want. So I give text box dot place, and for the x I can give same one, but y-axis I'll increase so that it comes down. So this is the, see, this is a text box. So we had created a label and then created a text box as well. Right. So that's about text box, and then we can also create uh, checkbox. Okay. So for that, let's create a variable check button, check equals. I'm giving declaring it as an integer variable. Okay, this is part of the Python that comes with the Python this method, because we would need this to create a uh, checkbox. So the function that we need to call checkbox is check button. Where we want this check button, we want in window. Okay, on the text that we can display, whatever text we want. Let's say I want to display here promoted as a text, and then we need to give a variable so that we can access this way. This is access the value. So variable, I'm going to give check button that we just created, and the value of that would be integer. Okay, check button one. And then you have to give two more option here called on value. If we have checked the checkbox, the value is going to be 1, and if we have unchecked it, the value is going to be 0, that we had defined. Now we have to place it right where we want it to be displayed. So I give button 1 dot place, same thing, relative x, giving same point 1, and then y I am going to give point 3. I can run this program. So now I'm getting a label, text box, and checkbox as well, right? So like this, we can create a checkbox in Python Tkinter module. Okay. Now similarly, we can also create a drop-down list, but I'm creating a variable menu, and this is going to be string variable now. For let's set a default string to this. Let's say select an option. It is the default one which will open as soon as you see the drop down. And then I'm going to create a drop down which is called as option menu. Option menu function is what we need to call. Read option menu in the window, and then we are giving the default option that needs to be displayed. And then I can give an option here. Let's say India. Okay. And then I can give you say China. Some countries I'm giving here as an option. Okay, to display. Now next is you have to place this drop down somewhere in the window. Giving place rel x, giving same point 1, and y I'm giving as let's say point 4. Now this is going to display accordingly. See. Now I got a drop down also with these three options and checkbox, a button, and a label. Excuse me. Right. This is how we can create all these widgets. That's what we call in Kinter. And last, we can create a button also, just a submit button kind of option. So let's me give, and for that we call the method button. We give a button equals submit, text equals submit, and that's it. Now I can place it somewhere. Place rel equals again the same one. And y I will increase that to 5. Now button will also be displayed on the screen. So this button also got created, right? Now this button as an option, we can always call a function when we click on the button. So let's say I create a function somewhere here. Um, if this is a function, what I want is uh, I want to create a label, and in the same window, then give text equals clicked. All right. This is the button which will create as soon as you click on the button and when it calls the disp method. So I'm going to let's say place it relx one. I'm going to display point one uh, x-axis. Y I'm going to give point 6 for example. This will happen when we call this disp function. Now the question is how do we call it? So in this button attribute, we have this button text equals submit. There is an attribute called command. So if you command equal disp, you click on the button, it will call this disp method or a function, and that function is going to display a label with text button clicked. Let's see, this is the form. I click on this, the below button clicked has been displayed. This is part of the function that we created. So this is how we create the widgets in Kinter and populate the values. Next, what we'll see is this is just we're displaying somewhere on the window, right? So there is a concept of frames in Kinter. We can create a frame and call all these widgets inside a frame. That way, we can beautify or no make the window more attractive by giving colors and dividing this into multiple sections and so on. So for that, what we do is we just create a frame. For example, let me create a frame here. I'll give a name as head frame, and then for that we call frame, and the frame we want in window. Okay? And I can give a BG color. So let's say I give orange as a BG color, and then place it somewhere. But place I am going to give RELX 0, and then y coordinate also 0. I can give here height and width also. So I'm giving height, let's say point 2, and I'm giving width as point 2. This point 1, point 2 is the fraction of the entire window. That means the windows, how big the window is for that frame, you do the fraction. The advantage of giving this is it will automatically reduce the width or height as per the window size. So you see here I got this frame created based on the height and width, whatever I have given, that is coming. So now when I increase the size of the window, see the frame width also increased. When I reduce it, it is also reducing. That is because of relative x and y we have given. Now this hello world is coming outside, right? We want this hello world to be inside the frame. So for that, what we do, let's increase the width of this first. I'm giving width as 4. Now this label hello world, now it is coming in window, right? So instead of window, I can give head frame. Now this hello world will open inside the head frame. See now hello world is inside the head frame. Okay. So like that we can have frames based on the height and width it will open, and on the respective frame we can populate all these widgets. All right. So let me give it 7. So now this width of the frame has been increased. So this is how we create frames, and frames can be opened inside the window, and all these widgets can be opened inside a frame. Now we are going to learn how to capture the value of a text box. Okay. So for that, let's create a small form. Okay. So let me delete all this. Let's have a small entry box. So I have here, okay, a entry. The name of the entry is txt box. Okay, and then let's have only button, nothing else. Removing all this. Okay, here you go. Now we have just one text box and a button. That's it in this program. So if I run this, it is showing a text box and a button. Because the size of the x-axis I have given different earlier, so that's why it is probably uh, very far. So I give point 0.3, it will be close to that text box. All right. So what I want to do is, if I type, let's say, a number, and if I click on submit, it should print the square of this number. Okay. Now when I click on this button, it is printing button clicked, right? Instead of button clicked, it should print the square of the number. That means we should know how to access the value. Okay. So what we do for that, to access the value, let's give variable v equals. Now we want to access the value of this entry, right? And the name of that entry box or text box is txt box. We give txt box dot get. Now this function will retrieve the value of the text box and store in the variable v. Okay, and now and then let's have another variable here v into v. So this is going to store the square of it, and here I can just display the value of r. Okay, that way it will display. Now since this text box txt box is outside the function, it is not able to access. So for that, what we can give a global, we can make the txt box global. That means txt box, even if it is outside the function, it will be accessible inside to retrieve the value. Okay, for that, we use global keyword. Now let's run this. Hang on a second. Do not close this. I type a value, print, submit. Okay, there is an issue. Okay, it's a non-integer. So let's make it int. But it was a string earlier, so that's why it was not able to find the square. I give a number, submit, now it's printing 9. Okay, the square of 3 is 9. And that is how we capture the value of a text box. The method that we use is get. Alright. So now that you know how to get the value, you can have a form and you can access all the values and perform any other actions like saving to a database or displaying and so on. All right, so that's pretty much about Kinter module. Hope you have understood all the widgets. Please go ahead and try it out and let me know in case you have any questions in the next class. All right, thank you.